Live. We are live. Live. Oh, yeah.
Don't give up your day job, man.
Listen. As you said before the show, you have not caught up on any of the new Kids in the Hall episodes. But Steve, I want you to know that for any of you who have been paying attention to the Kids in the Hall before we begin the program tonight, if any of you have caught up on that, I would like you to know that my favorite skit so far is not Steve's phone going off while we're doing the fucking show. Jesus Christ. How long has it been, Steve? No, but my fucking favorite skit so far on the new Kids in the Hall is, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. So if you've been watching, you get that one. So enjoy.
I love the original song. I actually went back on YouTube about a week ago and listened to Melanie, I think is the lady who's singing it.
Melanie is the name. Yeah.
And I don't understand the song, but it's cool to listen to.
Hey, why not? I got a fucking brand new pair of roller skates. All right, let's fucking kick this pig, Steve.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening. Welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 217. The Beast of Bray Road. Ooh. I fucking love the dogman. I love werewolves. Give me werewolves. Give me a good werewolf show. We don't have any werewolf shows on TV. Give me a good werewolf show. Steve doesn't believe me. Steve doesn't believe in TV.
I don't have.
He believes
TVs.
in old-timey radio.
I like old-timey radio.
Returning to the program. It's been a while. Mr. Steve Alcorn filling in for KT tonight. For those of you who have been paying attention, Katie is going through some shit right now. I posted the link to the GoFundMe below the in the comment, not in the comments, in the description of the video on YouTube and on Facebook. But Katie's house flooded. Pretty fucking good.
Pretty fucking bad, really.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty fucking bad. And she's doing okay. All in all, like, Katie's doing okay. She's handling it. But she was going through a rough one. I felt very, very bad for her watching all of her videos that she was sending me as it was happening. And I wanted to do something for her. She went out and bought she didn't spend a lot of money on it, but she went out and bought a new microphone to do the show with. And she had an old laptop that she was using. She actually had a couple of laptops. One of them stopped working for the show. So she was stuck with only the one that would work. And that and her brand new microphone got fucking destroyed in the flood. So Steve's going to send her a new microphone. And I've started the GoFundMe to try and get her a new computer. And if I can get her a couple of other things too, that would be great. I just want to try to help her recoup a little bit because I'll be honest with you about Katie. She's got a little bit too much pride to ask for help. So I had to be like, I'm just going to do this for you. So, so far the response to the GoFundMe has been great. You guys are always great about that shit. The people on the page, the people who support the show. So I really appreciate any and all help that everybody's given. Those of you who have already donated, fucking thank you so much. It will help get towards getting her something new. And I'd like to get her something decent, but at this point, if I can just get her a fucking new laptop so that she can do the show. I mean, that's all I give a fuck about at this point. If I can get her something nice, that'd be great. If not, whatever is affordable.
She will have a nice microphone. I'm sending her my spare, which is a Yeti X, so that should set her up real well.
Yeah, that should do really well. Carolyn Cook Weary. I hope I pronounced that right. Hi guys,
Close
this one
enough.
intrigues me. Dogman is the most frightening thing out there. Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
She's never met my ex-wife, nor yours. Oh no, we lost Chris or me. Who did we lose? Is it me that's gone? Was it me that was froze or you?
No, that was me. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fucking
I
lovely.
was about to text you. So
Yeah,
what a great start to my triumphant return. Huh?
Yeah, it's fucking great that I have a direct line to the fucking internet and I lose it all the fucking time.
You're plugged into
I'm
the
plugged
internet
in
directly?
direct. I'm not fucking on Wi-Fi, but every time this happens, the little Wi-Fi signal comes up on the goddamn fucking screen. Like right now, it just popped up again. I'll probably fucking disappear again.
Oh, you're a little grainy, but at least on my end, I don't know what the viewers would
I'm
say.
gonna have to message somebody else in the house. I need you
Get the fuck off
TV.
You guys don't have fiber optic out there yet?
Me off. I don't know. We've got fucking Spectrum.
Oh, there's your first mistake.
Yeah,
but you probably don't have a choice.
It's all that's fucking available out here.
Yeah,
Spectrum.
That's the problem with most communities. It's like your garbage company. They contract with one single fucking company,
and that's all you get.
No choice. Yeah. Well, here, luckily, my town, we have choices. Yeah. And you know what? Look at my internet. I have fiber optic. It's cheaper. It's
my signal just keeps showing my signal just drop into shit. Yeah. And I'm fucking direct connected to the fucking internet. It's
fuck you, Spectrum.
This is driving me fucking crazy. Anywho, beyond that, so I wanted to share with you guys so that you could see what Katie's been going through. Wanted to give you a glimpse at it. So
whole crate is just completely unloading
basically
into my home. Oh, so deep. Oh.
Yeah. I'll let you guys watch that one again.
This whole crate is just completely unloading into my home. Oh, so deep. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm guessing
yes, Carolyn, that is terrible, Carolyn.
I'm guessing the entire neighborhood there had similar results there.
Yeah, I don't know how many people were affected by it. I know that it's a creek that is that drains into the lake, which is she lives on, and it's floods from that. I don't want to go into too much other detail about it. I don't know how much she's comfortable with me talking about with it at this point.
And that is, I did ask you earlier, that is just rainwater.
Yeah, that's from the rain.
It's a floodplain that she's on, apparently. So
yeah. So that's why I started the GoFundMe. And I'm not trying to fix her house. I'm just trying to get her a laptop at this point. She is applying for aid and all that bullshit. So hopefully she'll be able to get taken care of in some respect that way.
Yeah, normally in these situations, my sister went through a similar thing and she got aid.
Yeah, and I know that her fiance also left his vehicle in the garage during they came home to this, and the vehicle is flooded. It's done. So I mean, they're going through a lot right now. So like I said, all I'm trying to do is get her a fucking laptop. That's it. You know, maybe do a little bit more for her, but I'm not trying to fucking fix the problem. If I wish I fucking could. I wish this fucking show had that much reach that I could fucking fix it for her. Like I told her the other day, I wish I lived down the street. I'd be there helping you shovel the shit out right now.
Absolutely.
You know,
Katie's just a wonderful girl, and her fiance is a good guy.
Yeah.
I've luckily got to meet them in person, as has Chris, and yeah, just good people. So
yeah, it's too bad what's happened to her. And the shitty thing is, like, things were going really well for her. You know, things were looking up, and you know, she's getting married later this year, and it sucks that this had to happen. It really fucking sucks that this had to happen. So
if I have one thing I'd like to say to Katie, I see she's in the my mom always said when we went through hard times, and it's a Bible thing, I'm sure, because my mom's that way, but this too shall pass is what she always said. You'll get through this.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna suck, but it will pass. So.
Yeah, Katie says the support from everyone means so much. It's really touching. And yeah, of course we support you. But yeah, I told her to take the fucking night off. The other night she's like, well, you know, maybe it'll be a good distraction for me on Monday. And then, like, I can't remember if it was this morning or yesterday. She was like, you know, yeah, I think if you can get Steve to do it. I'm like, yeah, he's already in the pipe.
Anytime.
Already in the pipe. I already asked him to just do it.
And I don't mean to cheapen it by saying it's just stuff or this will pass it, but truly that is the true nature of life. You know, is we go through hard times, we go through great times. You got a great time coming up. You're getting married, you know, and maybe that would be a great focus for you. And the house will come around, you know.
Yeah.
It sucks. My sister had a pretty bad flood just like that, and she ended up, you know, she got the help she needed, and they got it straightened out. So it'll work out for you. It just sucks.
It is what it is, as they say. You know. So I don't want to dwell too much on that. I just would like to say to everybody, you know, thank you for those of you who have donated already, and anybody who can. Be greatly appreciated. I'm going to leave the GoFundMe up for a little while, and try to, like I said, I just want to try to get her a new setup so that she can still do the show. But it's pretty rough. I'll pop up real quick so that you guys can see. Let me see if I can pop it up here. The pictures that. Let me see what I can do here. Oh, cancel. I can never do this right, Steve.
Yeah, apparently not.
They don't make it easy to share photos and shit. It's kind of shitty. So
it's a free service. Well, yours isn't. You're paying. I was gonna say it's a free service, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm fucking paying. So I wish they'd fucking make it easy. So yeah,
you know, you can actually reach out to the guys at StreamYard and they'll listen. They're pretty good guys.
That's the door where she was standing. I'm pretty sure. And that's the garage. Also,
wow. That one just gets me. All that
part of the
muck
garage.
And,
it's just rough. It's just all mud. Just all mud. Just sucks. Just sucks. It just sucks. Like we're saying, it just sucks that it had to happen. And I'm really upset by it. I hope that we can help her get through it. An impromptu truth. Hey guys, first time catching a stream, listener for a few years now. Oh, good to have you on.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, long time, first time. So a few things I wanted to touch on tonight. The Katie thing was one. The other is is it Uvalde or Uvalde? What the fuck is the name of that Texas town?
It's Uvalde, I believe. Yes.
Uvalde. So I don't want to go into too much on this, but For those of you who are in the know, there was a shooting. For those of you who weren't, hey, there was a shooting.
I don't think this one's escaped many people.
At a
It's
fucking
over.
school yet again. The problem that I have with this one is the police response, which has been defended and unrightfully so. And it's always the usual fucking suspects whenever it comes to this shit. The right has their little fucking narrative. The left has their fucking little narrative. And then there's us in the middle. And by us, I mean the people that are affected. I don't mean myself. I'm not fucking affected by that.
The
I am in
general
the fact that I
public,
saw it,
Yes.
saw that it was going on, but it when these things happen and everybody just goes to their fucking talking points, it makes me insanely livid. Hearing Ted Cruz talk about the unlocked door made me want to strangle that fat fuck. And he is putting on a little weight, so I'm not calling him a fat fuck. I wanted to fucking strangle him. Like, seriously? That's where you're going to go? Like, well, the teacher shouldn't have left the door. And yes, of course, the fucking
Absolutely.
teacher shouldn't have left the goddamn door open.
That teacher, though, is going to face consequences mentally and career, I'm sure.
But
Obviously.
The fact that armed police officers sat outside and I believe impromptu truth, the time is actually 80 minutes. I'm not sure on that. So
still ridiculous.
Either way, it's over an hour. The fact that it took them that long, and ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't even the cops that went in.
Yeah.
It was an off-duty Border Patrol agent who was getting a haircut. He heard about it because his wife is a teacher in the school. He grabbed the gun from the barber, had another Border Patrol agent meet him at the fucking school, and he went in. And all of this is happening while they are detaining, arresting, and tasing parents.
What were they detaining, tasing, and arresting parents for? Trying to get in?
Because the parents wanted to go in and save their fucking children.
Right.
Because they were sick and tired of the police sitting there and waiting for additional resources. Motherfucker, you have a job to do. Okay? And I'm sorry. If you're a police officer and you take issue with this, I'm sorry that you take issue with this. But your job is not to go home fucking safe at night. Your job is to make sure that we go home safe at night. That's your job.
By definition, yes.
And if you don't like that,
and serve.
Find another fucking job. I am absolutely irate about this. I am sickened. Like, this wasn't a situation where it was a traffic stop where you might get in some kind of trouble because of social. These are kids. And you fucking sat outside the school with your fucking 10-gallon cowboy hats. Does that help you think? Putting on those fucking caps, you jackasses?
What the hell took so long, though? What resources could they have been waiting for that took that long?
SWAT.
Get together.
They were waiting for SWAT.
Yeah. Well, I understand Uvalde's not close to anything, if I'm correct. I mean, it's kind of out there. So I'm guessing that they were waiting for SWAT from a bigger city or whatever. However, somebody's got to do something. It's one guy in there. One guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many police
ridiculous.
officers are outside, but it's more than one.
Plenty of police officers with plenty of tactical gear and plenty of fucking guns to go into that school. And the fact that they didn't is ridiculous. It's gross. It's disgusting. They should all be fucking ashamed. All of them. And any of them that got up in front of fucking microphones and defended it should be even more ashamed.
I think we're lucky that there weren't more dead kids in there. He locked himself in one classroom. I think we're lucky.
an impromptu truth. I disagree with this one, mainly because I know a lot of veterans, and there's some issues. There can be issues there. I love our veterans, but there can be some issues. We have this thing in this country where we prop up police officers and people who serve our country, and we forget that they're human fucking beings who lie, cheat, and steal just like everybody else. So while yes, we need to do something, I think that there's a discussion that needs to be had about what we need to do, because this is gross. It's gross at this point. We've had 220 mass shootings since the beginning of the year. And if I hear another goddamn gun advocate bitch about how, well, you know, if you look at the deaths per million, we're not the fuck off. We're the worst, or close to the worst. We suck. Hate to break it to you. Sorry, Steve. I'm going on a rant tonight.
That's okay. I mean, I'm conservative, man, but I tend to agree that something's going wrong. Something's broken, and something needs to be fixed. And if you don't see that, I'm torn. I don't know what to do. I'm a conservative, you know, and I believe in gun rights. I believe in you should own guns. However, how does an 18-year-old kid legally buy that shit? Those types of weapons with that much ammunition. You know, an 18-year-old who has had issues, behavioral issues, bad behavioral issues. Now,
but Steve, he's got a God-given right to have a gun when he turns 18.
Now, here's what I saw somebody propose this the other day, and I kind of like the idea, and maybe I'm way off base with it, but we buy cars, right? Cars kill a lot of people every year.
Yeah.
But we're required to carry insurance on those cars, register those cars. Every year they have to be inspected in certain areas in certain states.
Yeah.
And maybe we should start doing that with guns. And that might, at least maybe it'll cut down on something. You know, I don't know. I really don't know the answer. I don't know that there is one. That's the fucking problem.
I think at this point, the pushback. Listen, do I think that the left is right?
Hell no.
In what they want? No, I do not. Do I think that the right is correct?
No.
In what they want? No. I think that they're all assholes, and that they need to pull their collective heads out of their asses.
They don't want anything.
Come up with a solution, but they don't want a solution.
They don't.
They just want us to. They want us to fucking spin around in a fucking circle, not knowing what the fuck's going on, and just clicking the little fucking box when we vote, so that we vote for them.
They're both on the same side of the fence.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Their talking points are different, but really, in reality, at the end of the day, they're both the same.
At the end of the day, they all voted to send a shitload of money to the Ukraine. At the end of the day, Republicans and Democrats, they don't care about you. They're never going to care about you. I hate to break that to you.
I think certain politicians go into office thinking, "Hey, I'm going to be different. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." And as soon as they get
that quickly,
the moment they get there, they're talked to. I guarantee it.
And an impromptu truth, you're absolutely right. Sending all that money overseas, it could be used to fix the border and secure schools. There's all kinds of things that could be used.
But fences are bad.
We could use it to fucking help the homeless problem. And yes, Steve, fences are bad unless it's a border in Ukraine. We want to strengthen the border in Ukraine. Here at home, we don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, and I have issues both ways with the border wall. Because of the drug issues, and the illegal drugs coming across, and I get it, and the cartels and all that shit. We probably should have a fence there. Keep some of that. Although they'll tunnel under it, they'll do whatever it takes to get here anyway.
Listen, I just think that we need to find solutions. We got to stop fucking arguing about everything. Everything it doesn't need to be an argument.
This guy wants the wall, and this
unproductive.
guy doesn't want the wall. Then we pick sides, and nothing gets done. Or
Right.
this guy wants gun control, this guy doesn't want gun control. Then we pick sides and nothing gets done.
Nothing gets done. You're right. We don't argue productively.
Or this guy made a mean tweet, so we vote for this guy, and now look where the fuck we're at.
There we go.
Not that Trump was great. I think he did a
No,
lot of good things. I think he did a lot of stupid
He
things.
did a lot of shitty
However,
things too.
When you vote for a guy, just because he's not the other guy,
Yeah.
you've done fucked up.
Yeah, and this whole idea that you have to vote for the lesser evil, fuck off. Fuck
There
off.
is no lesser evil.
Give me a viable third-party candidate. That's what you need to do. So, and I'm not going to rant on this any longer. I just wanted to talk about it because it's disgusting and it's going on and it's huge news right now.
When I agree with Bill Maher, you know something is fucked up in this world because I don't like that motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah. Anywho, I happen to like Bill Maher. There's certain things I disagree with him about. There's quite a bit actually, but
I grew up a conservative, so
yeah, but
I agree with the guy now. A lot of stuff.
it's and he beats up on Democrats a lot, to be honest.
Good, should.
So Steve, heard you captured a chupacabra at your house
twice. Same one too. He just keeps coming back, man. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
I see the picture of the fucking raccoon, and I'm like, Steve caught a chupacabra.
I'll tell you, when you get a raccoon in your house, and I got a lot of shit. You know I got a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
It sounded like there was a fucking bear in my basement. That's how much, I mean, he's just knocking shit over and shitting and pissing on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. And boy, did they stink. It smelled like a barn in here until I got him. You know, we clean it all up, and luckily he shits and pisses in the same places all the time. So it wasn't too bad, but my God. And then I drove him 6 miles away the first time. 6 miles. I'm like, this will do it. You live in Poor Road now. That's the name of the road. Poor Road. Like, you live on Poor Road now, buddy. A week later, less than a week later, he was back. And I'm pretty certain it was the same guy. Next time I'm going to mark him if he comes. But so we bought a box trap at Tractor Supply. Nice one. Big one. Well, we bought one at Tractor Supply, and it turned out, because I misjudged the size of this thing. He's probably as big as my cat, not small. You know, I thought he was just a baby.
Right.
And so we bought a little, rabbit trap, small one. Nah, that didn't work. So we had to keep him in the house another night. And he's peeking because my office goes right down to the downstairs is right here. He's peeking around the corner at me. He's looking at me. He's fearless. Fearless motherfucker. I'd go upstairs, and as soon as I go upstairs, he'd go out and get the cat food. And that's why he's in the house, is he wants, it's free food. So, and water and whatnot. And it's a nice, comfortable place to live. So anyway, we got the box trap and marshmallows because my cats won't eat those, and raccoons love them. So we got the marshmallows, even though, raccoons and cats are basically the same family, genus or species or whatever, genus probably. But yeah, they like marshmallows and garbage and whatever, but my cats won't eat that. So they won't go in the trap. You made a little trail of marshmallows into the trap, and it went off the first night. We took him 6 miles. And then the second time, it took him 32 fucking miles. So we'll see if he comes back. Yeah, it's a McDonald's in Madison, Ohio. You now have a raccoon.
Oh, yeah. I saw that picture. I was like, son of a bitch, he caught her fucking chupacabra. So give that thing mange, and he could have fucking put up a video.
And here I'm all worried about if I could chupacabra while Katie's house is flooding now. Yeah, my problems are small, man. My problems are small. So,
well, it's that way with a lot of things. Like, sometimes you need that perspective of life, seeing what somebody else is going through, to realize that things aren't as bad for you. And shitty things happen to people. And shittier things happen to other people. I mean, granted, we're not being tortured in a fucking jail somewhere, Steve. So life is actually pretty good.
I do got to say, if you are in need of a box trap to catch a raccoon in your house, and the reason, by the way, he comes in is because we have a cat door. And Alan, I know you're listening. Go fuck off. He keeps telling me to shut the cat door. apparently Alan doesn't have cats that go in and outside all the
Apparently
time.
Alan's-
You want to let him out all the fucking time? Fuck no.
Apparently, Alan, in my opinion, is a drunk. So
I'm
you
not
know.
sure what Alan is, but Alan, I'm not closing the cat door. I will deal with the raccoons if they come in. Now I know what I'm doing. But if you need a box trap, go to Tractor Supply. Harbor Freight actually has a fairly cheap one that's decent, but go to Tractor Supply, and they have a 2 for 1. That's the one you want. You want the 2 traps in one because you're spending a little bit more to get the 2, but in reality, you're spending less because you get 2. You know what I mean? So if it's $29 for the one big trap, or $37 for the big trap plus a small trap if you have a little rabbit or something. So, and I'm all for humane disposal, and so I can't kill shit. So I'm all for live traps. Although if he comes back, there's going to be a burlap sack and a fucking rock in Lake Erie.
One of these days, ladies and gentlemen, I won't live next to fucking the goddamn highway or whatever the fuck this road becomes when summer hits.
Well, you ought to live here. Tonight it's calm and I can't believe it because it's Memorial Day.
Yeah, usually you have cars like fucking flying by your house.
Motorcycles all fucking day long. But I don't know. Maybe
if I close things up in here, it gets so stuffy. I mean, this room gets super fucking stuffy if I don't keep the windows open. And with the windows open, people fucking fly down this road the minute summer gets here. Fly down this fucking road, and the cops never sit down here.
And it's not a road you should be flying down. It's even any time of the year, really. What
because you've been here.
25-mile-an-hour road generally is what it's supposed to be, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
all the way.
That's not a.
People go down through here at 50.
Yeah, it's a small 2-lane, and there's businesses on both sides and houses and apartments up close to the road.
Yeah,
and people, I mean, tons of people walking through there.
Oh yeah,
it's a tourist attraction.
I don't give a fuck. I hate people in this town. By the way, hate them. I hate
is it the locals fly in, or is it the?
No, it's always the fucking tourists and the people out of town. There's very few people that live here that act like jackasses. There's very, very few. It's just fucking stupid. Like what happens down here in the summertime, it's fucking stupid. I am so sick of it. I want to move.
I don't blame you. I mean, I could not. I mean, I've been to your place, man. I couldn't live there.
It's
just
hard.
the masses of people. Just
and
like
it explodes.
No.
It explodes from this weekend until September. It explodes. Now after September, I love it down here. Absolutely love it. But I want to love it where I live year round. I want to be able to be like, it's quiet here all the time. Like I want to go somewhere different. I'm tired of this.
Well, where your relatives are, man, that's probably pretty peaceful out that way.
Oh, well,
but there's no fucking ocean. Yeah, there's no ocean out there.
Yeah, no, I don't. I could give a fuck about living at the ocean. I have come to appreciate it, but I don't need it. Like I was never an ocean guy.
No. My wife and I have been discussing moving to North Carolina, and
North Carolina's nice.
She's fine with it until, and in the Blue Ridge area, the Blue Ridge Parkway area, or south of that, really, but not much. Morganton area, or Hickory, but there's mountains there, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful down there.
Mm-hmm.
But then she started thinking about it. She's like, "Well, we live on the lake, and there's no lake. There's a lake there, but it's small. It's not like living on a Great Lake. It's not like living basically on the ocean like you do. Right. So and she's realizing, man, I'd really miss it because she goes down there every day. She looks, she doesn't go into the water. I mean, she walks down to the harbor and back, and
right,
and she'd miss that. And so whether we ever do get a chance to move or not is a different story.
Yeah, I want to. It's I'm tired of it down here. So, but yeah, I saw that you captured your little chupacabra, and I wanted to bring that up on the show today. When I saw that,
the one thing I've decided not to do is to ever give that motherfucker a name, because then he becomes a pet.
Anywho, on to the fucking news, Steve.
weird. It's weird being on this side of the news.
From the newsobserver.com. Strange sea creature found on Outer Banks ignites debate. What the heck is that? Something bruised and squishy came ashore on North Carolina's Hatteras Island just days before the Memorial Day weekend, and an online debate continues over what to call it. The formless creature appears to be circular with a skirt-like canopy, and it has a purplish
Bruised and
tail.
squishy. It's like me after sex.
It was spotted by Danielle Coulombo. I don't fuck. I am not Danielle Cisco. I'm just going to use her first and last name of Vermont during a recent visit to the Outer Banks, and she was curious enough to share a photo with the Hatteras Island Facebook group. I am in love with Hatteras Island and a big sea marine geek, she wrote. However, I cannot identify this jellyfish or jellyfish-like creature. It doesn't look like a nettle, lion's mane, or cannonball. What could this be? Cisco says the discovery was about 9 inches across, roughly the size of a volleyball, and she jokingly referred to it as a thing from hell. The Facebook group has more than 42,400 followers, many of whom are accustomed to seeing photos of dead things on the beach. However, this sea creature appears to be something new.
I want to be part of that Facebook group. Dead things on the beach.
Yeah, nothing new, man. One man said it's an example of something locals refer to as bloodsuckers, while others made jokes about the creature from Aliens that attaches itself to people's faces. What the heck is that? All my years have never seen that. Okay, Janet
all my years.
All my years, never seen that. Janet Walker Guttridge wrote. Looks like a ray and a jelly had a baby. Joshua Crenshaw posted. Almost looks like a horseshoe crab that shed its shell, John Askew said. Ideas are being offered, but a consensus is yet to be formed. Multiple commenters believe it's a lion's mane jellyfish, though the species isn't common off the Carolinas. Lion's mane jellyfish are found in colder waters, the North Atlantic and North Pacific, and are known to have tentacles up to 120 feet long and can rival in size the blue whale, the largest animal in the world. I'll let you guys take a look at this thing. It's kind of weird looking. I mean, I don't know what the fuck it is, to be honest with you. It's
bruised and squishy. That's all I know.
That's what it looks like.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What could it be?
Yeah, it's definitely a jellyfish.
Yeah, it's a jellyfish of some kind, but what kind? I guess they can't figure it out. Somebody will fucking figure it out. Somebody always.
Does really anybody really care enough to figure it out? I mean, if there's some biologist or some shit on the group, they probably like, oh yeah, that's some common. Fuck it, who cares?
Right.
It's the mystery's better than solving it anyway.
Usually, yes. Like it's like that. What was the Montauk monster?
Yeah.
You remember the Montauk monster?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Harry Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks says, "Good afternoon." Good afternoon. Next up in the news from iflscience.com. That's ifuckinglovescience.com. So now there are 7,000 methane bubbles beneath Siberia. Back in 2016, Siberia's amusingly named Belly Island made headlines around the world. What's that?
Who counted them?
Scientists, I guess. Made headlines around the world after sections of its grassy landscape became somewhat bouncy. As it turned out, the island was leaking greenhouse gases at a seemingly remarkable rate. In fact, the air escaping from the ground there contained 100 times more methane and 25 times more carbon dioxide, the two most potent greenhouse gases by far, than the surrounding atmosphere. This time last year, just 15 of these near-surface, water-coated methane bubbles had been identified. Now, as reported by the Siberian Times, there are 7,000 of them. It's not clear how this number was achieved and how accurate it is, but if it is true, then it's certain not good news.
Sorry.
Thanks to the omnipresence of bacterial and archaeal life within its soil.
2 methane bubbles.
Yeah. 3 methane bubbles in the ground. 3 methane bubbles. Take one down, pass it around. All right. Yeah. We get the joke, Steve. There's a heck of a lot of methane and carbon dioxide locked up within Siberia's permafrost. When conditions are warm enough, they thoroughly enjoy breaking down the plant and animal life trapped there, and they give off the 2 aforementioned greenhouse gases as waste product. Permafrost, as the name implies, is meant to be somewhat permanent. It's a mixture of ice and soil buried just beneath the surface that remains frosted over for at least 2 years or more. However, thanks to the rapid pace of climate change, the region is warming incredibly fast, sometimes twice as fast as the rest of the planet. When the permafrost melts, the organic matter begins to decay, and methane and carbon dioxide within it is released. Although carbon dioxide lasts longer in the atmosphere than methane, the latter gas is actually around 28 to 36 times more potent at trapping heat in the long term, which makes it fairly dangerous when it comes to global warming. Now, I don't want to go too far into this story because this goes into a lot of climate change shit, and I really don't want to talk about that.
No, fuck no.
However, this is a serious issue. I have heard about this before. There was a guy that went on Joe Rogan that was talking about why they were trying to recreate woolly mammoths. And one of the reasons is that they wanted to recreate this place, like they called it like Pleistocene Park. That's what they were referring to it as. But the reason why they wanted to reproduce mammoths is because mammoths used to roam the tundra,
Right.
And stomp on the permafrost. And by stomping down on the permafrost, they would keep it cold. They would keep it hardened and cold, and like that. It's something that they were a part of that ecological thing.
Right.
And that's why they wanted to bring them back. Now, do I know if this is a fact? I don't. I'm just regurgitating bullshit.
That'd be a lot of mammoths, but
Be a lot of mammoths. You'd have to get a lot of mammoths. But that's one of the reasons why I threw the story in there, is because I had heard about that before, about them cloning mammoths to try and stop this. And I heard about this years ago, not recently, like years ago, because of this issue. So this is an issue where there are these gases trapped in the ground, and that ground is now squishy. Martin,
we're gonna get right on that, Martin.
Do you have any plans to interview William Shatner about being on Star Trek and being on the starring role on TJ? Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me call Bill right now.
Let me just fucking get in touch with. Let me email him right this second.
Hey, Bill. What's up, man? Hey, how was that flight to space, man? That sounds pretty fucking cool.
Jesus
Christ. Like we have that kind of reach.
Yeah.
Come on now, Martin.
I'll just fucking get in touch with Bill Shatner. I call him Bill because we're on that type of level together. Fuck.
Yeah, I liked him better in TJ Hooker, I think.
Yeah. Anyhow. Oh, fucking Christ. Some people's kids. Our next story of the evening, Steve, from the mirror.co.uk. 2 men capture clip of Bigfoot running through the trees as they drive in the forest.
Sure.
2 TikTok users claim to have captured real footage of the legendary.
I already know it's fake. TikTok.
In a forest while they were driving when they saw a humanoid creature running between the trees. Bigfoot is a legendary ape-like figure said to roam the woods of North America. The creature is feared for his intimidating size and mystery surrounds his very existence. Theorists believe Bigfoot is a link between mankind and apes having emerged as humans evolved into our present state. Scientists argue there is no credible evidence that a creature matching the description of Bigfoot exists. However, there have been several reported sightings of the figure, and footprints have been found in American forests said to belong to Bigfoot. One of the most recent sightings of Bigfoot was shared on TikTok, and 2 men claim to have pictured video footage of the creature. And I'm gonna just let you look at it. I'm just gonna let you look at it, Steve. Just gonna let you look at it. Just gonna let you look at it. Yeah,
yep, that's him.
Yeah,
I think.
Let's so the little video. Oh, it's an ad. We got to get through the ad, but the video's right here, right over here in this little video box. You'll be able to see it if the fucking ad ever ends.
Yeah, that's definitely a Bigfoot.
It's fucking Bigfoot, dude. Let's go down to the next one.
Hey, yes.
Yeah, it's Bigfoot.
That's even more convincing.
Oh. Look, it slowed down.
What are they driving?
Down. Oh. It's probably one of them side-by-sides.
Yeah.
That's my guess. It's one of those little fucking off-road side-by-sides that everybody fucking has to have now. That when I go drive out into the rural areas of Maine, there's like fucking hundreds of these people in these goddamn things crossing
yeah.
the fucking road to make my day miserable. Yeah, those people.
There's a bunch here too. But yeah, that's not a suit.
So
That's
yeah,
a
when
real
the
big
video is replayed at slower speed, a hairy humanoid figure can be seen running between the trees in the distance. But TikTok users are not in agreement over what the creature was. One user commented, "That might be the best footage of Bigfoot on TT." Another wrote, "Hey, maybe Bigfoot was trying to keep the asshat from burning his forest down with his cigarette."
Yeah,
Someone
that was
called
what
out
he was doing.
Someone called out the TikTok account for setting up the stunt deliberately.
Really?
And listen, I and Steve can tell you from experience, that generally it's horse shit. Generally,
I
when
go in
somebody comes
thinking
out
it's
with this
horse
stuff,
shit.
it's horse
First.
shit. You know, and like I always go back, and I hate to bring this up because I know you don't like it, but I always go back to Norm Glasser.
God.
Whenever I see somebody that is believable, I go Norm Glasser, because fucking you believed he was believable. The people that were involved in that believed.
And Chris is gone again.
Completely full of shit.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, did I disappear again?
Yes, for half a second.
Jesus
You went, people who
Eh,
and then you came back and said something, and I forgot what it was. But Norm Glasser, he was a believable guy. His story was good, but in the end, and he fooled me, and he fooled other people. He didn't fool some people, and so,
right.
And
Yeah.
it is. We need hoaxers, though. You need hoaxers in it. What the fuck else are you going to talk about?
That's true, because there ain't much else out there. Yes, Dean, that is Alcorn. You've missed half the fucking show like usual. So go back and listen to the rest of it, because I'm not repeating everything. Because you've missed it all. All the important shit, Dean, you missed. Thanks for fucking showing up. On to our next story of the evening. From the CharlotteObserver.com, was that triangular-shaped object seen flying over East Charlotte a UFO? This is what we know. Social media users are debating the validity of a UFO sighting after an object was spotted flying over a busy Charlotte road. Please tell me if anyone in the East Charlotte area saw a triangular-shaped UFO about an hour ago, a Reddit user wrote in a Charlotte subreddit thread on Monday. It was drizzling and I was heading to 485. Saw it at the light by Big Al's. Saw it at the light by Big Al's, Dave.
It just sounds like a hick story already.
The commenter, however, did not provide photo or video evidence of what was seen. While most were skeptical, a few who commented on the post were confident that the object in the sky was it's a flying saucer. There's got to be some earthly scientific evidence for this one, a commenter wrote, but I'm all for this being the real thing. I'm dying to know what kind of life forms are out there. Would love to have seen it, another commented. The most exotic thing I've seen are white orbs that fade from view, then slowly reappear. However, some pointed out that planes departing Charlotte Douglas International Airport were flying lower than usual due to severe weather in the area. One commenter even provided links to maps that showed the paths two flights took over Albemarle Road, just west of Interstate 485, suggesting the object was a plane. When planes come in at a certain angle, they can look as if they are hovering or zipping straight up instead of forward, another commenter wrote. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. And there's no pictures of it. Just a...
I'm probably in agreement with the Charlotte airport thing. If they were flying lower than normal, it can't... Airplanes can cause illusions sometimes. Illusions, yeah, that's the right word. Yeah. It can cause that sometimes, and I've seen it. They look like they're sitting there, and they're not. It's just the way their angle they're flying, and I bet you that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 stories from North Carolina. Maybe that's a sign that I need to go there.
Do you need to go to North Carolina?
I love it there. I've never been to Charlotte. Well, yes, I've been to that airport.
Do you have any plans to interview anyone who's been in the secret space program? That's from Martin Birchall.
It would be cool.
Yeah. if I could get in touch with anybody, sure.
It's
Again,
not really an interview show. I mean, we
I
do
mean,
some.
I try to
We've
have
done
people
some.
on. Not many people want to come on this show. Dr. Jeff Meldrum was once quoted as saying, "I will never do that show." Just saying. And to that I say, Dr. Meldrum, enjoy your foot fetish. On to our next story.
Joke man.
That's right. The dude can't take a fucking joke. From popularmechanics.com, this 1968 pamphlet uncovers how the Air Force used to handle UFO sightings. The 1960s were a tumultuous era in American history, and one of the milder controversies of the time was the phenomenon of unidentified flying objects.
Why are you using a 1940s voice for a 1960s story?
I don't know, because it just sounded good. Or UFOs. In response to more than 10,000 reported UFO sightings, the U.S. Air Force decided to release a pamphlet, Aids to Identification of Flying Objects.
This is Walter Cronkite.
Gently steered people with UFO sightings away from thoughts of flying saucers and aliens and toward more grounded explanations. It marks a stark contrast to how the Pentagon handles UFOs, or what it now calls identified aerial phenomena, in the modern day. The Department of Defense tasked the Air Force with investigating UFO sightings in 1947. 1947, Steve! And by 1966, it had amassed 11,207 sighting reports. The investigations carried out by the Air Technical Intelligence Center had identified an explanation for all but 675 of the sightings. In 1968, the Air Force published the pamphlet drawn from the University of San Diego Library and uploaded by an anonymous blogger going by the pseudonym Isaac Coy. The Air Force comes out swinging in the document, going down a long list of perfectly natural phenomena reported by people it admits are more often than not reliable, stable, and educated. As for aliens, the Air Force saves commentary for that at the end in a frequently asked question of sorts. The authors state no evidence has been submitted to or discovered by the Air Force that identified sightings represent technological developments or principles beyond the range of our present scientific knowledge. There has been no tangible evidence to indicate that unidentified sightings are extraterrestrial vehicles under intelligent control. Do UFOs constitute a threat? No UFO, the memo flatly states,
None
has been determined to represent a threat to our national security. That's not quite how today's Department of Defense sees it. In November 2021, more than 50 years later, the DoD established the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group. That's a fucking mouthful. The memo that established the group cites the presence of unidentified aerial phenomena in special use airspace represents a potential safety of flight risk to air crews and raises potential national security concerns. Special use airspace is typically military-controlled airspace where training, exercises, live fire shots, and other potentially dangerous activities take place. The Department of Defense is likely referring to UAP sightings on both the East and West Coasts, reported to have been made by fighter pilots between 2004 and 2018. Mysterious drones have also been spotted in the airspace over nuclear facilities, including a September 2020 incident at Arizona's Palo Verde nuclear power plant. The airspace over nuclear power plants is typically restricted. On one hand, the Pentagon is taking UFOs, UAPs more seriously than in the past. On the other hand, it has expanded the definition to include obvious drone sightings that some have concluded are the work of a foreign power. The sightings lacking a clear explanation and taking place in restricted airspace must be investigated. Still, the military is not really giving much, if any, ground in conceding that extraterrestrials are behind any of the sightings. Just like in 1968, its official explanation is that people are seeing something, but instead of aliens, it could be a drone operated by a Russian spy.
Damn Russians.
Someone brought up was it the hypersonic missiles or some type of missile that they were working on, that some of these could be. And
there's any number of things.
Yeah, that's I guess that's actually a possibility. Anyway,
I think even like in 1968, I think the government takes it the same exact way they did in 1968. We just didn't know about it back then. They just told us the opposite. Now, it's the government, so I can't trust them no matter what they say.
Right.
So, but I think they've always taken it seriously. They wouldn't have programs,
Yeah.
at all if they didn't take it seriously. Zero programs.
Listen, the government lies to us.
Of course.
They lie to us a lot. If
Every day.
things in recent years haven't proven that to you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you can't see it.
No, there was no lab
Drop
breach.
some acid. Maybe that'll fucking help you. I don't know what to fucking tell you at this point. Anyway, on to our fucking topic of the evening. We fucking droned out long enough on this show tonight. The Beast of Bray Road.
No.
I'm a big fan of the werewolf genre, and not so much dogman. Like I'm not sitting around going, oh, let's find out the newest dogman sighting here. I don't keep up on this shit. I'm a fan of, in pop culture, werewolves. I grew up with them, fucking horror movies, etc., etc. Love the shit. It's been a staple of my life. And we did, I think the last time it was when you were on the show, we did, I went over the documentary, The Beast of Bray Road, that Small Town Monsters put out.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. So it's narrated by Lyle Blackburn and his lovely hat.
Oh, yeah.
You never see him, so you don't get to see the nice, lovely hat that Lyle likes to wear. Lyle, you need a new outfit, buddy. Just saying. You need a new look. But I went through and watched this again. Because to be honest, and yes, Dean, you did. You missed
this
all
is
of it.
the topic. It's not
all
the main
of it.
topic.
No, you missed all of it, Dean.
You missed he stated that you missed the important part of the show.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Not this horse shit. Anyway, so there's not a lot about the Dogman out there. As far as like documentaries or whatnot. There was this one that I found. I looked up an episode of, I think it's like American Monsters or some shit like that. It's called. I watched it on Discovery Plus. And I was looking specifically for stuff on the Dogman. And or werewolves, Beast of Bray, whatever. I put in all the stuff, all the fucking, usual suspects. And holy shit, there ain't much. So I went back and went over that and watched that episode, which came out recently, in which if you watched Linda Godfrey in the Small Town Monster documentary and then this new one, it looks like she forgot to color her hair in the new one because she's looking a little grayer than she was before. But anyway,
age will do that to you.
Yeah. In this newer one, they had the encounter of Lori Andreesi.
Ooh, don't know her.
Now, Lori Andreesi is the encounter that kind of made it famous, or was the one that hit. She was driving home in the fall of 1989. She was a manager at a bar. And as she was driving along Bray Road, she saw something on the side of the road, and she says that it was kneeled down, and it kneeled down like a human being and had something in its hands that it was eating, which happened to be roadkill. When she came up on it, the lights hit it, and she saw what she saw to her looked like the head of like a German Shepherd or a wolf, and the body of a humanoid type body. This new show that I watched, and like I said, I can't remember the name of it, that had the episode. Their rendition of the Dogman was horrible, by the way. Absolutely horrible. I'll take the shitty CGI they had in the Small Town Monsters documentary over whatever the fuck they put on the screen to show the dogman in this thing because it looked. I don't even know how to describe it. It didn't look like a dogman. I can tell you that. So, because I loved how they're like, yeah, it looked like the head of a German Shepherd and or a wolf and the body of a humanoid. And then you see this thing in their recreations, and it in no way looks like the head of a German Shepherd or a wolf.
Kind of like the way the original Chupacabra was described as some weird beastie thing, and then it turns out all the depictions are like a mangy dog.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Just stupid. So the thing that I didn't like was any of the accounts from Lori Andreezy that I ever saw, because I've known this story since 2013. I came across Lori Andreezy's story. Any of the accounts that you read or see or hear about never mention that her car stalled. But in this new episode of whatever this show was that I don't remember, and I've actually reached out to Lori Andreezy because I want to find out the truth behind this. I found her Facebook account and I messaged her. I don't know if I'll ever get a response, but I'm hopeful that I will. I would love to talk to her. Because in this episode, she says that the car stalled and that she was freaking out, couldn't get it to start. So in my opinion, it created all this drama. So I'm curious if she was kind of talked into that, or if that's actually what happened.
It could be. Now, are they trying to say that the beast made it stall? Or
no. I don't think that they were trying to go to that. I just think.
Why would that add? Well, I guess it would add to the story because maybe she was there longer.
Well, as they were doing the recreation, she's freaking out with the keys and if she and then the lights come on and there's the fucking dog man. I just think I wonder if it was actually what happened to her, or if the producers were like, well, if we said this would come off a lot better with our recreation.
Yeah. It gives it more dramatic, obviously.
Right. It keeps people more interested in the story. So I'm curious about that.
She could have stalled the car. I mean, if it's it's the 80s, early 80s, right?
Well, it was 89.
Yeah, well, late 80s. There's still carbureted cars where it could get flooded or some shit, Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. So, and her mother's in this this newer episode, which is more recent. And she talks about how she came home and she was all a mess, and she described this thing and she didn't want to talk to anybody about it. So she kept it pretty much to herself for a little while. And she was terrified by it. Most people that you hear about that have these encounters, they're terrified.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt that most of these people who claim to see things believe that they saw something. Most people.
Oh yeah.
There are your assholes out there that make it all up, but
yeah,
generally.
Yeah, I don't immediately discount people's experiences. It's not what I do. People think
I might discount some, but the experience I do not.
Yeah, and listen, people have experiences, and it's okay for me to question that. But it isn't like I'm immediately going out and trying to destroy people's experiences. But listen, we live in a fucking time, and what we've always lived in a time. People are liars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna clue you all in on a little thing that many of you might not know. These Bigfoot Encounters channels on YouTube, a vast majority of those, the stories are made up.
Everyone.
They are not actual encounters. They're fucking fiction. So enjoy your fiction.
Most of the time. Or they're based on stories that people have told and, buttered up and made the sound better.
And it doesn't say based on actual events before you start the story.
It's just stories. And even if it's a real encounter, it's still a story until you can prove it. It's just stories. Good stories sometimes.
But here's the thing. Those YouTube creators, those content creators that do those channels, a vast majority of them write the stories themselves.
Sure. And it sells YouTube views,
Yeah.
and that's fine. And there's usually somewhere, somehow, a disclaimer,
Because
I have
okay,
I used to have problems with these. I don't anymore. I don't care.
Now, do I think that people have dogman or whatever it is that they're seeing? I don't want to. I necessarily myself don't want to characterize it as that or categorize it as that. But do I think that that people see this thing? Yeah. Do I think that people see it enough that there needs to be a Dogman Encounters radio show where they always have a different sighting every fucking week? No.
Is that still going on?
All the love in the world to Vic Cundiff, but
Is Vic Cundiff still doing that shit?
I don't know.
Isn't Vic Cundiff the same guy who his YouTube got shut down because he's? It just seemed a little fishy. The story seemed fishy.
Oh God, don't even. I can tell you one thing. I wanted to promote Vic at one point.
I have no
Vic
problem.
Vic would not let people share his fucking videos from YouTube.
Right, that's true.
So
he's protective of his shit that really doesn't need protecting.
Yeah,
if he wants to grow a channel,
stupid.
If you want to grow a channel, the first thing you do is let people share your shit.
Yeah, and he didn't. So I don't know. I think it's fucking hilarious. So anytime I get I can get a good little jab in towards Vic, I do. But
I don't think anybody's trying to steal Dogman Encounters.
No,
because you looked into Dogman Encounters. There wasn't a whole lot out there. Now he's got that market cornered pretty well.
Yeah.
But
there's
not
not
interested.
And what I mean by that is there's not a lot of like documentary style things out there about this subject. It's not there. I could have gone back and watched, like, there's a Monster Quest episode that I could have gone back and watched about the Dogman. But there's just not a lot out there. Now, what I did find with this newer episode of American Monsters, or whatever the fuck it was called, I'm going to just keep continuing to call it that and say whatever the fuck it was called, was there was another encounter, which I had heard about before. And I can't remember the guy's name, can't remember exactly everything. So I'm throwing this together, and correct me if I'm wrong, whatever. There was a guy who was contracted to pick up roadkill. And I believe that was because the Bray Road's in Wisconsin, correct? Pretty sure. Yes, it's in Wisconsin. The Bray Road's near Elkhorn.
Yeah,
Wisconsin. And when I was watching the documentary the other night, Steve, my wife heard that and she goes, "Did they say Alcorn?" And I said, "No."
I know. People used to pronounce my name Elkhorn. Like, what the fuck? Where you even see that? It's A-L, not E-L-K. You dumb motherfuckers.
But this guy who was contracted to pick up roadkill, he had stopped at this place. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was on the side of the road at night. And he picked up a small deer. I believe it was a doe. And he put it in the back. Yes, Steve. And he put it in the back of his truck. And he had some ATV ramps in the back of the truck. Got into the truck and started filling out his paperwork. I felt the truck move. First, didn't think anything of it. He thought it might have been the wind or whatever.
I believe I've heard of this one, yeah.
And he feels the truck move again, turns around, shines his flashlight out the back, and his description is, and according to him, he's like, "Listen, I've seen bears. I know what a fucking bear is." And he didn't say fucking because this is, regular TV. But I know what a bear is. It wasn't a bear. This thing looked like a German Shepherd or a wolf's head on a humanoid body. And it was trying to rip the deer out of the back of my truck. So he freaks out.
Did it take the deer?
I'm getting there, Steve. I'm getting there. Let me tell the story. Jesus. Calm down there, my fucking 5-year-old son. from fucking years ago. So the guy, the truck's already running. He throws it in fucking drive, takes off. And here's this fucking crash, something. Drives far enough away that he feels safe, gets out, looks in the back of the truck. The deer and his ATV ramps are gone. And he's like, I can't do my job without the fucking ramps. I need those. So he goes back and cannot find the fucking ramps anywhere. And deer's gone. Everything's gone. And he reports it. And I guess the cops went out and looked as well. Couldn't find the fucking ramps. So he thinks maybe that the deer got caught up in the ramps.
What would a dogman need with ATV ramps?
ATV ramps, right? So I thought that one was interesting, just because of the way that it happened.
Did they ever find the ramps ever?
I didn't look into that. That I did not look into, because I'd be curious to see if those ramps were ever found. Because I think if those ramps were ever found, it gives a lot more credence to that story.
Right. And because the deer is missing, there's no evidence that any of it ever really happened. Maybe he just was driving along, lost the ramps, had to make up a story. I don't know why he'd make up that story, but people are weird.
Yeah. And I don't know what the dogman is. I don't know what it is that these people are seeing. Do I think that a werewolf-like dogman creature exists? I'll be honest with you, I don't think so. If I'm speaking honestly, I don't think so. But there's a percentage in my brain that says maybe, and
the fact that these sightings go over a period of time and then all of a sudden stop. You don't hear, there's no Beast on Bray Road anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that to me says, well, there's got to be a breeding population. It has to be. You can't just have one unless it's some weird science experiment that went wrong. So that means, where did they go? Well, we're not having sightings anymore.
Linda Godfrey puts up the speculation that it's a species of dog that for some reason it was beneficial for it to walk on two legs at one point. I don't know if I agree with that. However, every single person that has had an encounter with this thing talks about the legs on this thing, that they are bent like a dog's. The legs that they're standing on. So, and that they can go from a standing position to a running on all fours position.
I've seen dogs stand on their hind legs. If a dog wants to get up on something, say a back of a truck to steal a deer, a wolf or a big, it has to be a big dog, but I can see how that can be misinterpreted. And that's probably what most of these people are seeing. Something, it's a scary situation. You want a fucking wolf in the back of your truck or eating something on the side of a road while you're trying to get home. You don't want to see that shit.
And I also think that wolves are much larger than regular dogs. So there's an inherent bigger factor of scary. You know what I mean?
It's a fucking wolf. I mean, they can kill you.
Yeah. Now, according to all of these other things, that these documentaries, there aren't any wolves there.
Yeah, but they say that there's no big cats in my area, but I've seen the tracks. They're as big as my fucking hand.
Yeah.
There's mountain lions here.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you have to, I guess for me, I have to keep an open mind about everything, even though I'm very, very skeptical.
The territory of what's the territory of a wolf? It's pretty big.
Yeah, they have a large roaming capacity or whatever.
And they usually find these things. They find out later that these things. The fucking raccoon has a 20-mile memory. I can take it 20 miles away and it'll still remember how to get back to my house, even though it was in a car.
Yeah.
So
we'll figure it out.
Don't tell me a wolf or something else can't do that, or a big cat or whatever it is.
Yeah, and the other story that caught my attention when I was going through this, and this was another one. There was a guy, and I don't have any of the dates on these. I'm sorry, folks. you're more than welcome to look up this episode of whatever the fuck it was on Discovery Plus. I didn't give you much information, so good luck looking for it.
Go find that one show on the internet.
Yeah, go
search
find
it,
that one
and
thing.
You'll find it.
Yeah, just
Type
look for
in
it.
dog creature thing.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
There was a repo man who was going out to pick up this Cadillac late at night. And, he's like, I always work late at night. That's when I have to work. I have to try and
Makes sense.
catch these fucking people when they're, least expected, grab the car and go. So he goes out to look for this car at this place, pulls in with his tow truck, jumps out, goes over to look in, I guess, in the window of the garage. And here's like a branch snap off to his side in the woods. And as he turns and shines his flashlight in this direction, he sees, and this is what happened in Michigan. This wasn't in Wisconsin. So this is more of a Michigan dogman. Because, see, here's the thing. People in Wisconsin think that it's a werewolf, and people in Michigan think it's a dogman. What the difference is, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. They describe the creature fairly similarly, though.
Yeah. But he said, same type of description. There's this thing with a dog-like, wolf-like head, bipedal, humanoid body, running at me. I took off, jumped in the fucking truck, took off, didn't even look back, and dropped the fucking account for the Cadillac because I wasn't going back there. Scared out of his fucking mind. Now, seem believable. Again, I'll go back to the Norm Glasser thing. People can seem believable and be fucking liars. So when I say that these people seem believable, I don't want people to immediately take that and go, oh, well, they must be telling the truth then. However, I don't want people to immediately go, oh, they're fucking all liars. I don't want that either. I just want to be able to look at these.
By the way, was a liar.
Yeah, Norm Glasser was a liar.
That was a totally made up story.
Yeah.
I think the experience with the tow truck driver and the roadkill guy and the girl, they really saw something.
They experienced something.
Yeah.
Now, what they experienced, I don't know. I don't know if it was a dog man. I don't know if it was a werewolf. I mean, I don't fucking know. I don't even know that these things exist.
Probably.
But I believe that these people had encounters with something.
Yeah. Sure.
And it scared them.
It would be interesting to know whether these people had, like the lady, the Beast of Bray Road she's not the only one to see it. There's several.
No, yeah.
Did she know about these others? Because that can play into things too. And so,
if you listen to people in the documentary, they'll tell you that while it's well known, there are many people that will tell you in that town that they've never heard about it if you go to ask them about it. And I think, and I have defense for that. I grew up in a small town. You don't hear about everything.
Well, and I have a story that goes way back. I used to do customer service over the phone, right? And finally, somebody calls me from Roswell, New Mexico. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I got to ask. And they said something, hey, what about the UFOs? They're like, huh? They had no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Because they live there. It's not something that they care about. We care about it because we're not from there.
Correct.
There's a lot of things in my own town. I keep discovering things in my own town because I live here.
Yeah.
But other people from outside of my town know all about it.
And people in the documentary were saying, too, that, during the time when it was hot, like when these encounters were all happening and it was news and Linda Godfrey wrote the book, people were going there in droves. Not like in droves, because this community is not as big as many other communities. But it was an uptick, in tourism in the area. But they also said that it died out. It's not as much anymore because it's not a hot topic. So, but I'm sure people still go there just to drive.
Why wouldn't you? I wanted to, when I was up at your way, I wanted to go see the Betty and Barney Hill place. It was too far for me to go at the time, because we had so many other things to do. But I'd love to. Do a lot of people do that every day anymore? Probably not. It's probably one every 2 weeks or something like, crazy low number.
I'm sure you don't have a lot of people going to Wisconsin to check out fucking Elkhorn and fucking Bray Road. I just can't imagine that you have a lot of people going there. I mean, sure, I'm sure there's some. Hell, I make my fucking vacation plans sometimes. I'll vacation just to go check out weird shit. I was going to go on a vacation years ago to go check out the Bennington Triangle in Vermont. That was going to be my vacation. It got rained out and I didn't go because it fucking was a deluge all week. But people do that. It's just not as prevalent as other things. And I found it funny that, they talked about that surge in, tourism, but then that drop afterwards, like it was just boom, gone. It's weird. And there is another story that I think is worth mentioning. And the reason why I say that it's worth mentioning is because it seems like there was evidence with this sighting, but no one makes mention of the evidence. So there was this woman, I can't remember her name. She hit something in the road, and this is a Bray Road encounter.
We'll call her Janet.
Yeah, we'll call her Janet. So she runs over this thing. She stops the car, goes back to look, and as she's going back to look at whatever she ran over and check the car out, she hears footsteps on the road running down the road towards her. And when she looks up, she sees this dog man-like thing running at her. So she runs into the fucking car, throws it in fucking drive, goes to take off. This thing hits the back of the fucking car and digs at the trunk of her car. So in this instance,
I think I've just come up with a theory, but go ahead.
This is, there's actually some evidence that could have been there. Now, in any of the places where I've seen about this encounter, have I heard anything about the evidence of her car? No. It was like, I don't know that it was ever presented to the police. I don't know that it was ever, anything. So, but I thought that was also another interesting encounter. Woman late on a dark road. She thinks she hit something and then sees something running at her.
Okay, so here's my theory.
Yeah. What's your theory, Steve?
Hear me out. Just listen.
Okay. It was cows.
No. Has anybody ever checked into the possibility? And I know it's going to sound crazy, but this only happened for a short amount of time. So maybe there wasn't a breeding population. Maybe this was a single creature. Maybe somebody lost their kangaroo.
Kangaroo? I don't know that a kangaroo would try to eat fucking roadkill.
Maybe some of that is just made up. Deer will eat. Yeah. Deer will eat themselves. They'll be cannibals if they need to be. So animals do things that we don't. But what I'm saying is the description kind of sounds like a kangaroo. If you think about it, it has a dog-like head.
Yeah.
And a more human-y type body.
I think personally, if I'm gonna go kangaroo, I think that maybe the Jersey Devil type thing was maybe a kangaroo or something like that. I'm just saying like that.
I think because there's only the one, and there's only evidence on one particular area.
Mm-hmm.
There's something different about that situation than maybe a breeding population of big feets somewhere where, became all over the place. But so could it be something that we're not thinking of? Thinking like,
well, and Matt, when Matt was on the show, Matt brought up the theory that it was a Bigfoot, but with an extended muzzle, like
maybe
like a baboon.
maybe a deformation or
like a
something.
baboon's type of face. And I don't discount that either. I think that's actually, a distinct possibility.
Sure,
I'd
but
be
you have
more
to make
apt,
the leap that Bigfoots exist in the first
but
place.
I'd be more apt to believe that a Bigfoot exists that looks like that than to believe that a werewolf / dogman like creature exists. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not that I'm discounting that these people. I'm not saying that these people didn't see this thing. I'm simply saying that there may be other explanations for what they saw, and I think there's a lot of people that are on board with me on that one. Dean Cooper says Bray Road is about an hour and a half from me, and no, I'm not going there.
What the fuck good are you, Dean?
There's nothing there. Well, thanks for your
You
scientific
could be our man on the
observation.
Street.
He doesn't want to be the man on anything. He wants to be the man on his fucking chair at his house doing jack shit. That's what Dean wants to do.
I think when it comes down to it, 99%, if not all, Bigfoot encounters, dogman encounters, kangaroo encounters in the United States, in Australia not, but in the United States, are probably just misinterpretations of something that's a lot more mundane. Like bear
in a lot of cases, but what about those fucking few that aren't, Steve?
There's no evidence, though. That's the thing. That's the problem. Matt Knapp is one of my friends, and I believe that he had a Bigfoot encounter, but that doesn't mean I believe that there's a Bigfoot. I want to. I so want to, and I know you want to, but that doesn't mean, and I know he's had a Bigfoot encounter, and I trust him. So I'm torn on that because, Matt's a pretty intelligent guy.
Yeah,
he's not going to make that shit up.
I wouldn't discount his sighting.
No, you can't.
Like I wouldn't sit there and go, yeah, no, Matt's full of shit. No, I wouldn't say that. No.
So when it comes to that, a lot of these people that see these things are like Matt, where you can trust that they're telling you what they saw, but is it some sort of skewed thing?
Right?
Mentally?
Is it that thing like that eyewitnesses go through where they don't really remember things like they thought they did?
And I don't want to think that. I want to think that they saw what they say they saw.
But,
Although I
but
don't
we
want
know,
there to be fucking
we know
dogmen
that
running
eyewitness
around.
testimony sucks.
Sucks most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's very
it's
unreliable.
Horrible.
Very unreliable.
So I don't know, but like you, I would tend to believe Matt's story. I would tend to believe a lot of these encounter stories if I heard them from people, and these people sounded intelligent and rational and with it. I wouldn't immediately go, "You're full of shit."
A lot of people, Matt's not out there trying to sell his story. Yeah, he's into Bigfoot and he's a Bigfoot researcher and he does all the Bigfoot stuff, but he's never tried to sell his story. He doesn't even talk about it often.
Yeah, very, very rarely.
So somebody like that, I'm more inclined to believe than somebody who's out there selling their story all the time.
Pimping
and
it.
Even some of those guys, like Travis Walton, I believe he went through something.
Oh, yeah.
But he's out there selling his story, so it's hard to 100% trust that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Another guy I'd love to talk to. I've reached out to. Actually,
they don't have time for us, man.
Actually, had Travis Walton respond to me, but hasn't come on the show.
Hey, at least you got a response.
I did get a response. Fucking, I watched that fucking movie when I was a kid.
I still haven't seen it. So
you never seen Fire in the Sky?
No, I know the story.
It's a worthwhile movie. I mean, it's kind of dated, but it's worth it. I'd give it a watch if I were you. Some point in time.
Someday.
Some point in time when you can pull yourself away from all your work, you fucking workaholic.
Is there a Volkswagen in it? That's all I've been watching lately. Volkswagen videos in People's Court. That's all I've been watching lately.
That's it.
Well, shit, man. There's so many. You know how long Judge Million's been on People's Court? Like 20 years now straight. So there's a lot of episodes. So I just run them in the background while I'm working.
Dean says he bases his opinion on Google Maps satellite view. It's all farm fields.
Which kind of plays into
they say there's a huge
story.
Fucking forest over in one section of the area. So with lakes and ponds and all that bullshit, Dean. So
Yeah, but even if it's mostly farm fields, there's going to be some forested areas there.
Yeah.
Because farmers generally have some area of forested area. My granddad did. That most of the farms around here do. I don't know Wisconsin. Never been there. Don't want to. Have no. Well, unless I want to get some cheese. I'm okay without going.
I've
I
never been to
love
Wisconsin
cheese.
myself, so.
Yes, I love cheese. So that might get me to go there someday. But there's no real call for me to go to Bray Road to investigate
Not today.
this shit.
Not today.
However, I'm sure there's some area there that has some. The story has to be somewhat viable. You can't say there's a Bigfoot in Central Park and people believe you. Although that has been tried. there was a thing a few years ago where some guy tried to say that, and nobody believed him because there is not enough area for something like that to exist.
Yeah. I think. Listen, I've said this before many, many times. I'm a very skeptical guy, but I try to keep an open mind about a lot of this shit. We've seen a lot over the years. I was just telling somebody today who was telling me about something that they just went through. I was like, listen, I've been doing a fucking show about monsters and strange shit for fucking almost 10 years. And this is what I've learned. People are the real monsters. Like, that's what I've learned in all this time. Like, if you want to know the truth, if you want to look for real monsters in this world, look at fucking people.
Look at the news this week.
Yeah, exactly, Steve. Look at the fucking news this week,
and not just the shooter. Not just the shooter.
Yeah,
the people who didn't respond.
Yeah. The fucking the dude with the 10-gallon fucking hat that sat there with the fucking microphone and told people that they were wrong or whatever the fuck he said. I can't remember what he said. But
I understand that. I don't want to get back into that, but I understand there's protocol in that sort of situation. However, there's a time to breach protocol.
The protocol is you fucking pull out your gun and go save some kids. That's the protocol, Steve. I don't know any. I don't know any human being that I know personally that wouldn't have grabbed a gun and gone into that school to save those kids, myself included. I don't know a single person.
I can't say what I would have done. All I know is what the Border Patrol guy did. And that man should be, I don't know, he's probably going to face consequences for it because he's off duty and all that shit. But however,
I don't think he should.
I think he should be touted as a hero.
Exactly.
I think that's the type of person we should be looking up to. Not because he shot some killer with a gun.
No.
But because he took a chance. He disregarded his own well-being. And I understand his wife.
And he
was
may
in
have
there.
saved lives.
Probably did.
Yeah.
They waited how long to go in there?
80 minutes at least.
Yeah.
80 minutes at least.
What did it take for that guy to unlock the door and go to the next classroom?
Yeah.
Now, they started evacuating students, I'm sure, right away. I at least hope they did.
Well, Steve, some of the police officers got their own kids out of there. Because, that's what you do.
So, that's the sort of guy we should be celebrating. Not sports guys, not politicians. This guy.
Yeah.
Some guy
people who do the right thing.
Now, I know he went in, a lot of the purpose he went in was his wife was in there.
Yeah.
I get it. However, he didn't give a fuck about himself.
No.
Didn't give a fuck about it. At least he cared about somebody in that school enough to go in there and confront the situation and put a stop to it. His wife asked him to. Can you come here and do something? This has been going on a little too long.
Yeah. I'm glad he did. No, I hail the man. Don't know his name. I don't know any of the particulars right now.
And if he's like any other hero, true hero, he won't want any,
No, he won't. And I have a feeling he is going to be the type of dude to dismiss that type of thing. Yeah. He's just going to be like, no, sure I just did what I had to do. But I think everybody should be held accountable on this one.
The good thing is, and this is why I have issues with take all the guns away or whatever. He borrowed a gun from his barber. He's in Texas. Everybody's got a gun down there.
Yeah. No, I'm
That's
not.
Another thing. Why the fuck did this go on so long in Texas?
Yeah, exactly.
The least possible state that this sort of thing should be going on.
Yeah. If you ask anybody who touts Texas,
Everybody down there's got a gun. Everybody.
Yeah, but they don't want to use them.
Not really. I mean, I'm sure, it depends on where in Texas. There's a lot of, left-leaning areas. There's a lot of right-leaning areas. It's just where you're at. But
listen, I don't care who you are. I don't. If you tell me that there are kids in a dangerous situation, a dude with a gun in a school, and there's a gun available, and there's some tactical gear available, I'm going in.
if you look into this kid's history, though, he was the poster child of doing this sort of thing. He didn't hide any of it.
Listen, Steve, and this is going to be an unpopular thing to say.
So I'm saying there's something should have been done prior.
We have a mental health problem in this country.
Absolutely.
Since the 80s, when everybody's beloved president, Ronald Reagan, decided to destroy the mental health care industry. And it has done nothing but been destroyed since by both Democrats and Republicans, by the way. It's done nothing but hurt this country. I had an uncle who had schizophrenia, and he's passed away now. He pretty much smoked himself to death because he chain smoked cigarettes and drank cup after cup after cup of coffee. And he died at the age of...
that doesn't kill you, because I drink cup after cup after
And he
cup.
died at the age of 49. So I lost my train of thought on that one. Yeah, mental health.
Schizophrenia. Yeah.
He couldn't. We've demonized that sort of thing. The mental health hospitals around here got closed. I remember when it all happened. Like, he used to go to this place. It was called Jackson Brook Institute. And I remember when it was put in, and I remember when it was shut down. And now, do I think that these places are always all good? No. Some of them get run very shittily and need to be shut down. But the fact that we don't have these resources available for people. There's a fucking documentary about this woman, and I've talked about this on the show before. This fucking woman was released from a mental health care facility because they didn't have the money to fucking keep her anymore. So they gave her like a few bucks and sent her out onto the street. She went to an abandoned farmhouse, hid out there because she didn't want to be around people, and died. Slowly starved to death, huddling over a fucking vent that was barely producing any heat, and starved. Because that's how we treat the mentally ill in this fucking country. Here's a few bucks, go the fuck home. To a home that they don't fucking have.
That's why the homeless situation is the way it is.
Yep.
Good portion of probably 90%. Not all.
Of the homeless population is mentally
ill people. Yeah. And if we could figure out how to stop that, that in the bud.
But Steve, we just got to get them jobs, Steve. Got to get them jobs,
because that's not how. And you and I both know that doesn't work. Putting them in a hotel doesn't work either.
No,
none of that shit works. You've got to nip that in the bud. You got to get it at the beginning.
Yeah,
and a lot of these people don't want help because they don't realize that the help is going to help.
Right, and they need care, is what they need. They need medical care.
Just shoving a homeless guy in a hotel room and giving him a few bucks doesn't make his mentality.
It doesn't fix the problem.
He's gonna shit on the floor and piss on the walls. I've seen it.
It's gonna be. Nothing's gonna change. So we have a mental health issue in this country, and I think that's the bigger problem at this point. But anyway,
this kid was clearly mentally ill. Clearly.
Oh yeah.
Something definitely off about this kid. Yeah. And it should have been addressed from birth.
People need to get away from being embarrassed about this shit as a family.
Well,
too many families try to sweep shit under the carpet.
I won't talk about it on the show, but I've had experience with that.
Yeah, so have I.
And it's the truth.
Yep.
Nope, my kids aren't that way.
Yeah. No.
I'm not
God
that way.
forbid. God forbid I admit anything. Jesus.
I don't need any help. There's nothing wrong with me. My
Ah.
kids don't need any help. There's nothing wrong with them. But they just shot somebody.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. They had the right to have that gun, Steve.
Well, and
It's a God-given Second Amendment right from my cold dead hand, Steve.
it is a good. It is I mean, your Second Amendment right should not be infringed. However, for some people, it should.
Yeah.
We can't just give. I mean, we can't let everybody.
Yeah.
It's almost like anarchy if you just let everybody have a gun. You have to screen people. It has to be done. Criminals shouldn't have them. Now, criminals are still going to get guns, and I 100% agree with that. If you make it illegal, there are going to be people who find a way to get them. I mean, but the criminals aren't the ones shooting up schools. These are mentally ill individuals.
Yeah.
You rarely find an actual criminal who, because that's not their thing. They want to be a jackass and steal things and,
Yeah. Listen, it's a problem, and we need to solve it as a country. And
I don't know what the answer is, though.
None of us know what the answer is at this point, but it's a discussion. It's an uncomfortable discussion, and it's a discussion that needs to be had. We don't need to be talking about doors being unlocked. We don't need to be talking about taking away all the guns, but we need to find a center on this one, people. So
I'm usually against making laws because some jackass broke one little rule or something. But in this situation, I mean, I think when we were in school, man, we didn't have to worry about this shit. We brought our guns to school, and the gun rack in the back of the truck. Something's changed drastically in this country since then.
Oh yeah, and we don't and we don't want to accept that either. That's the other thing. We don't want to accept it.
So I'm all for our schools being secured. I don't want to wake up one day and hear that my grandkids were shot in school. I don't want to hear that.
Nobody does.
So I'm all for them getting bulletproof doors, and it needs to be done. It sucks. It sucks that we have to go this route.
We gotta do
something. I walked into the courthouse in town several times. You got to go there to pay your tax. You got to walk through the metal detector. You know what the fucking security guard does every time? You got anything in your pockets? Yeah, my keys. Okay, throw those in here. I walk through the fucking metal detector, still set it off. I trust you. That's not what we fucking need.
No, you're right. It's not what we need, but
we need something. You got to enforce that shit.
Yeah,
you can set all the laws you fucking want.
Yeah,
if you're not enforcing, and trust me, I should say something but he does it with everybody. It doesn't matter who walks through that door.
Yeah, but we get complacent. We get complacent.
Well, and he is.
Yeah, people get complacent, just sitting in their jobs, and they don't want to do their jobs. I don't want to talk about what I do, but I see it in the type of shit that I do too. People just don't want to deal with shit, so they don't.
But we are in a situation in this country, and I'm sure it's worldwide. I don't want to just say it's this country. It's not. That needs to be addressed.
Oh yeah.
This particular shooting got to me more than any other shooting that's ever happened. And I understand that some of those, fuck yourself, Alan. I'm not closing my cat door. My wife loves her cats. I tolerate my cats. I'm not going to sit there and listen to them scream and yell just because they want to go outside because they had a stupid little raccoon in here.
And on that note, I'm not going to give him any more of a platform than you've already given him by mentioning the fact that he commented. This has been the Fortean Slip, episode 217, the Beast of Bray Road. Thanks to Steve for filling in for Katie. I don't know if she will be back next week, but if not, I will try to fill in with somebody for the interim until I can get her back on here. Thank you to everybody who has donated to the GoFundMe. You guys are great, and hopefully I can do something really nice for Katie out of this. And I will be back next week with another topic and some news for all of you fuckfaces out there. Until next week, see ya!